some jobs we've saved up to 100 grand by changing engineering, saying we can build it like this, you're going to save a lot of money. And it's just money for jam for the client.
G'day guys, welcome to the MTDC Lounge. This is a podcast that breaks down everything you need to know about designing and building your ultimate home and what to expect. Whether you're a DIY renovator, a budding developer, or everything in between, we'll dive into the building journey, touching on what to expect, what's next, and how to go about it. We'll hear from a heap of experienced consultants and trades about all aspects. So let's get stuck in. Welcome to the lounge. Today we have Mitch and Brendo from Thomsen Hawthorn Building.
Hey.
How are you?
Good,
Yeah,
man. Good.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us here.
Yeah.
Mate, this is one of the ones that I've been really looking forward to because we've known each other for almost 5 years now.
Oh,
hey?
At least.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. And like I was saying just before, I remember real early on where you were talking about getting this started and been keen ever since to get up and
You guys are like the lead builders in the residential renovations and custom build space. You've got a great name around Newcastle. We were just talking about the Google reviews and things like that. And I know for a fact over the years that we've had a lot of jobs that we've worked with together, and a lot of them have had issues. All along, each separately have had their own issues somewhere along the line from planning all the way through to construction. And I think today, getting that out and letting the clients know that it's never smooth sailing. Doesn't matter how many boxes you tick, how many T's you cross, and how many I's you dot. There will always be something that will make something tricky.
yeah, it's a great point. Like, honestly, you can have everything planned out so clearly from the start, especially in renovations. New builds is a little bit easier and you don't run into much issues, but renovations, it's honestly like a time bomb sometimes, and it's like, how long until this issue comes out? For example, there's a job that we were on, and there was a certain engineering detail that was, probably not adequate for what was needed for this place, and that didn't come up until we've done this site cut and we've got these levels shot with the laser and gone, oh wait, this isn't going to work. And it was a pretty big issue. So the engineer got the heights wrong, and they had brick piers up against essentially like a dirt wall where it should have been a waterproof blockwork or concrete retaining wall. And essentially we brought the issue to the client straight away, came with a solution, said we can do X, Y, Z. And that's like just one of the many things that can go wrong so quickly on a job and so early. So
yeah, I remember getting a phone call from you, Brendo. You're like, oh, I'm under the house. I've got to dig out this dirt away from the wall. And you're like, I got to get off the phone. You jump straight off. But I mean, that was a pretty hectic one. Hey, so we found out because that was during the rains as well. So the rains were coming hammering down, and the water was just going over that retaining wall into the house. It was pretty incredible, that poor client. But you guys got them a good result. They're pretty happy.
Yeah, so we had to get under the house. We dug a full stormwater trench, put in a submersive pump, and pumped all the water back up to the street.
Yeah.
Yep. So they were happy with that. The building was protected. But yeah, you just, not everyone gets it right. There's so many factors along the way, from design. The surveyor's got to get their part right. The engineer's got to get their part right. And then the builder's got to get his part right. So there's so many boxes along the way you got to tick. And if someone drops the ball, it can become a massive problem.
The whole podcast is about showing how important it is to have a good team behind you, and I guess having that communication between everybody. I know when you guys called me, like, hey, let's fix this one up. How do we get this done? Almost everybody was just straight on board, and we were trying to get the best result for the client. And I mean, as far as I know, everything's fixed and they're all happy, because they had an issue with mine subsidence. They had an issue with the heights that was a problem. But yeah, it all kind of went belly up. But you guys kind of came to the party and helped them out.
Yeah, we never want to leave our clients in the lurch. We just want them to always know we're on their team. But sometimes clients think, there's a side, there's the builder side and there's their side. We try and get in early and get in their heads and say, we're here to help you. We're here to build for you. Yeah. We want your dream project to come to life.
Yeah. I mean, we all know whoever's done the project, I mean, this podcast is for people who haven't built yet, or somebody who is getting into the building industry. We know that there is always a headache, and we know that, you know, sometimes the build doesn't go right, and then sometimes it just ruins the whole industry, or for some people.
Yeah, well, it's just as you said, it's the few against the many, and the many seem to get it wrong. And yeah, I've got countless stories of, you know, builders will go do this, or engineers will go do this, or surveyors will get this wrong. And the first port of call for these people is, you know, they build up a wall and they go, let's get legal, let's wall up straight away. And it's formal, it's hard and fast to the client. And every single client's not going to take that well. They're going to go, whoa, what's going on here? Why's the build? It feels like you're just turning your back on them. So as Brendan was saying, it's like you get a plan, everyone works together, and you just, as soon as possible, come to them with a problem, but also with a solution. It's the most important thing. And the worst thing you can do is, everyone's, you know, you've got to protect yourself, and you know, it's at the end of the day, everyone's running a business. We get that. But at the same time, it's someone's livelihood and their dream. So you need to treat it like that. It's not something to be, you know, let's, you know, prepare all this first. It's no, let's get this ready and find the solution and then work it out together. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's such an important point. I mean, come with solutions, come together, try and work, because it is someone's money. So someone's saving their money for all this time. They've spent all this effort to try and do something with their place, and then, you know, all of a sudden something goes belly up and just makes life real tricky. But yeah, so I mean, I know for both of you guys have done your own designs, and you both are going through a building process at the moment. How do you find I guess the planning portion? And how do you find the planning portion now that you've been on both sides?
So me personally, so obviously you've done my plans for my place, which amazing job. And it was actually a really difficult one. It was a battle axe development, and existing house at the front, new dwelling at the back, Torrens title. So there was a lot to get right, and engage you guys early on. And pretty much nothing was an issue. You had all the right team, all the right resources to basically get me across the line. And the DA process, I felt like I could sit back and not worry. As a builder, that's so weird. Like, because every builder has a bit of a micromanager in them, and they're just, I need to see what's going on. I need to do this. I need to do that. And it's really hard to like separate yourself from your own, especially your own project too. Like that's my place. I'm going to live there. So to have that feeling of like, I don't have to worry about anything. That's me as a client. So that felt amazing. But as you know, now I've been on both sides of the fence. So I tried to do the CC part by myself. So you handled the DA, basically got it all through, worked with all your team, easy. And then I was like, you know what? This is easy. Like, you know, Matty's a good bloke, but I'm going to have a crack and see what's involved in this. Biggest mistake of my life. So I think I started that process because it's been a long time coming. I've been trying to get this through for a while. Like, you know, there's been a lot of stuff that I've been getting sorted personally to get to this point. And, you know, a few months, I'd say it's about 4 months now. And that's how I've been trying 3 or 4 months, which probably makes you sick. I imagine if you had a CC going for 3 or 4 months, you'd have clients up the wall. But or there's sometimes difficult ones, but mine where it was pretty simple up to this point. I just don't have the processes, didn't have the proper team, don't know how to go about it. The list was so intimidating. I got the list from BuildCert and I'm thinking, what am I doing? I don't even know where to start. Who do I even send this to? And well, really, thankfully that you've helped me out pretty much the whole way. So when I say that I have done it myself, I haven't really pretty much, again, held my hand the whole time. But again, from a client point of view and then trying to do it myself, I think, and this is the same thing I preach to people because I do all the quotes, estimates and sales for the business. I go out, do this. I say, leave as much as you can to us because there's a reason that we do our job. It makes your life easier, makes everything cleaner, less mistakes, nothing gets missed. Or if, you know, when I say nothing, some things get missed, but 99% of the time, it's a lot smoother to let the builder handle the whole thing. And I think that goes the same with planning and drafting, because you guys are essentially, you're the builders of the drafting world. Like you organize everything, you managing. I see the architects and draftees as the same as a builder. They hold the same role, because we've got electricians, plumbers, brickies, like everything under us. And you guys have the same thing, engineers, surveyors, people doing whatever reports, basics, everything. So, and you manage all that and handle it and get it and give it to the client as, here you go. Like, it looks so simple, but it's not. So that's one thing I have to get out, because I guess it's probably interesting for people to hear from a builder who is in the industry, but something like this is so foreign to me. And it's, I think, if I'm having difficulties with it, then I think the everyday person's going to struggle.
It's the email at about 6 or 7 o'clock the other night saying, "Hey Matt, can you help me with this, please?"
I was typing each letter with one finger, just go, do I want to hit send on this?
And can you fix this?
Yeah, essentially that's what it was. The pride, everything went out the door. Okay, I'm going to send this email now.
G'day guys, just quickly, if you're finding this podcast info relevant to you, then I'd like to quickly talk to you about what we do at MT Design Collective. You hear us talk all the time about the importance of solid, detailed home design practices, so that you're not left with extra fees, delays, or unexpected costs in building your ultimate home. Here at MTDC, we design homes and provide plans that builders love to build and councils love to approve. If you're looking at a renovation, a new build, or alteration, then we'd love to help you work out the next steps forward. Book a free, no obligation chat with us, and we'll come out to your site, as it's the only way to truly get authentic, no bullshit advice. Link is in the show notes. Okay, back to the show. No, but look, it's going to be an awesome house. I love designing it, and I guess the benefit of having you guys as the builders and designing your homes and your pools and all your bits and pieces, you get a direct say in what you want to do. I don't have to talk to you about price. I don't have to turn around to you guys and be like, don't do that. That's going to hurt. And then you're not going to get this rude cost shock right at the end, being like, I wasn't expecting that. Like, I mean, for yourself, like I was talking to you about price all the way through. I'm like, are you right for this price all the way through? Like, how do you feel about this? We can chop this space down, and we've got we do our thing with all the spaces and like the turning circles and all the bits and pieces for your place. But Brendo, your place is we went through a
I'm the nightmare client.
Your place, my friend, your place. So your place is a nightmare. It's a nightmare, but it's fun. Like it's enjoyable. It's like I find it entertaining because it's a tricky place. You want bedrooms behind your living room that has access to the water that you have to look through your living room to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fantastic if it wasn't joined to a living room where everybody lives and your bedroom is within sight of that.
Yeah, well, the problem with me is I think we're on concept number 3. So I asked Matt for a bunch of things. He gives me exactly what I want, and then I look at it and I go, how am I going to build this? Is this enough space for what I want? Is this room big enough? And I re-question myself, everything he's put in. And I say, okay, let's just change this, this, and this. He gives it back to me exactly what I asked for. I go, nah.
The best bit for me though, Brendo, is like you come over and sit through. You sat with me one night, and we kind of went right through the plans. And I guess the relationship that myself and your boys have, I can tell you, like, hey, that's going to be a shit idea.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, let's have a think about this. And then like the missus was in, and we all know the missus have the end say. So while the missus is in and we're having that chat with them, we're like, hey, her big point was the en-suites. So we needed to make sure the en-suites are fitting, and then we've gone through that full design and things like that, and we gave you, I think for your design we gave you we actually gave you a pretty fancy roof.
Yeah.
that had a bit of a curve in it and a bit of a swing and all this kind of stuff. Obviously, looked cool, but it was going to cost a fortune.
I went through with the engineer and said, "How are we going to build this?" And once we started running through the price, everything, I was like, "Yeah, I don't think
It's not going to happen.
Not going to do that."
Yeah. So the next things that were that, you know, we can either dial back or make the roof a little bit easier, or you've gone and shot for, you know, the cathedral ceilings, the things that look absolutely fantastic at the moment. And then the problem is with your place is that, one, you've got Aboriginal heritage. I don't think we've spoken about that on the podcast yet, but Aboriginal heritage is definitely a thing in the Lake Macquarie area. I mean, I'm pretty sure they found a shell.
It was a seashell, yeah. If it's within 50 metres of your property, it triggers the Aboriginal heritage checks you got to get on your property.
Yeah.
And they found it 48 metres from mine, so.
Oh, yeah. So there's about 6 months there and about $5.5 to $6.5 grand worth of reports and things like that. And basically, well, you know, you'll have, I think it's an elder that will come out to site and watch the dig or watch the excavation and make sure that none of the artifacts or anything like that come up with it. God forbid there are any artifacts in there, but if there was, obviously there's a whole process and bits and pieces that they'll find. Now, aside from the Aboriginal heritage as an issue, particularly with your cathedral ceiling that we had a point with, is your height.
Yeah.
And because your height has a requirement, our story was then, well, do you split the house? Do you drop it down?
Yep.
Like, talk to me about that.
Yeah, so what we landed on was it might be better to put a split in it, cut the second half of the house down into the ground to reduce that height.
Yep.
Because I'm on quite a slopey block, so we've got the room to play with that. And yeah, we're in talks with. I've been talking to a financial advisor as well and a few real estate agents whether it might be better to either do the knockdown rebuild like we talked about, or if I should renovate, extend, what's going to get me more bang for my buck. And I've also been entertaining the idea of doing it more of an investment property now where I might do a duplex there. So I might still do the split in the block. Yeah, I know. See, my head just goes everywhere.
So you want to tell me that before this is on? Or?
Yeah, that's excellent.
Well, that's why...
There's another 6 concepts.
There's another 6 concepts coming your way. But I don't know yet. The people I've been talking to are leaning more towards the extension, as I was going to do.
Yeah.
Probably less time, energy, money spent versus, you know, what it'll be end value be worth. The difference between the two is probably going to be the same, but I've spent an extra $1 million because I went duplexes.
Yeah.
So, you know, it might be worth $1 million more, but I've spent $1 million more, which is, I guess, the thing that all clients should be weighing up. They should be talking to builders or engineers or the draftees, whoever they know, whoever they can get hold of, to see if what they're doing on their block is the best financially for them and their family. Yeah, which is why I've been so delayed and I haven't talked to you about it in 2 months.
It's okay. I've got you there, and I just like all the other clients. I know I try and call everybody, but it's totally cool because I know your brains are ticking, and then I know the missus's brains are ticking.
Yeah.
Same with Mitch at your place, mate. Like when we were doing your place, it was like, oh, let's do this, and then, you know, we'd find a problem, we'd have to revisit, we'd redo it. But I'm glad that you made the segue, Brendo, because you took my job. Yeah, you segued before me. So. You yourself in the industry, you build the houses, you yourself went and saw a financial advisor. Yep. You yourself went and got the other people's advice about what you should do about your block. You didn't come to me because my opinion is my opinion, but I'm not a professional in that industry.
Yep.
I have people that I talk to and what they would recommend, but you've gone and got your own advice, which is amazing. Now, because you've got that advice and you would have a better idea about, particularly you guys would have a better idea of, you know, what's cheaper in relation to each other is, you know, renovation, knockdown, rebuild, or, you know, knockdown, rebuild, or renovation.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it surprises me a little bit that you're going to that renovation space because, as far as I was aware, it was more expensive. And we've already spoken about, you know, the dangers of going renovation because, you know, peers, anything could be just waiting there for you to kind of jump out and attack you. But I mean, like, what's your process of thinking if you're particularly going to go for that renovation extension rather than knockdown rebuild? Coming from a builder, mind you, not just as anybody, because I know, and I guess what we preach on here is if you're going that renovation extension, expect a stupid amount more.
Yeah.
Why?
So, well, there's the three options I have. It's the duplex,
Yep.
the new build, and the renovation extension. So where it sits is the renovation extension. I don't have to make the house too much bigger. I still would go out the deck, make the decks bigger for the entertainment, looking over the water, put the pool in, and maybe where my building's L-shaped, like, square it up a bit more, and not go as monster as we were first designing.
Not that extra level on top?
Yeah, or still have the second level, but maybe not just as big. Maybe just make it so it's still like a nice 5-bedroom house, got the pool, everything, and it's nice, and it will have good resale value. The second option is the most expensive, which is the knockdown rebuild. That is, if I want to stay there, dream build. If I'm just going to live there forever, I'll go that option.
So I guess from my point of view, and I guess a way that I would explain it to my clients, if you were to knock down and rebuild, you would get your house exactly the way you want it.
Exactly.
For more,
Yep.
but you get more out of it, rather than spending a lot more and work with the bones that you've got and maybe not have what you completely want.
Exactly. With the extension route, you can always pretty it up. You can always marry it in. You can make it look like it hasn't been, but you just don't get the same layout design. You always run into restrictions unless you're going to strip out the whole inside, but then you're getting close to new build costs anyway.
Exactly.
So yeah, the biggest thing for me as well, because it is an older house, it's probably 60 years old. So there is like how you mentioned the footings, like, how do you still fully trust them because you don't know what they are. There's the old hardwood frames, no insulation, so you're pulling off all the gyprock anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
The old bearers as well, like they're not like I-joists where you can run ducted aircon through. There's lots of things you have to put in bulkheads here, and you just, it won't be perfect like a new build.
Yeah. So, and then I guess on that, and I'll talk to you, Mitch, about it as well, because hard work, numbers guy. Right?
Bit of both.
Yeah, no, but you guys do a great job. I know you both are builders. You both do. I'm just taking the piss, taking the piss. But when you're offering that new build or reno space, what's your threshold before you say, well, hang on a minute, you're going to be spent? Let's say they're going to do a 5-bedroom house. It's going to cost you 1.2 to build. And then you've got a reno that you're going to go, all right, it's going to cost you $600,000 to build. You're not going to get your 5 bedrooms. At what point do you go, righto, that's your tipping point. You pay an extra $400,000 and you get yourself a whole new house?
It's a great question, actually. And it's sometimes got to do with you guys, actually. So sometimes people opt for the reno because the existing building is where it is, but if you were to do something to it, then they say council will go, oh, no, you're not doing that. You can't, if you want to build the same thing, you're going to have to follow this setback or something like this. And sometimes it's like what's there is there, and they're going to get what they want with the extension more than they would a new build just because of new rules. So sometimes we face that, and that's only something that we discover when you guys are involved and you've essentially advise the client of that. So that's one part of it. But really, the threshold at the end of the day, it's really what, as Brendan said, it's what the client wants. So if there's a certain thing and it's, I just want to do this, I want it here, and money's not an issue, it's usually extension. And it's usually people that have already got an existing house that they've already done work on. Oh, we don't want to knock the house down. But, that's some people get really emotional with the house, which is understandable. That's theirs. It's been in their family for 60 years or whatever.
Well, they've already spent $200,000 on it. They don't like.
That's right. So they can't.
Yeah, they don't want to keep chasing. They'll find that they're chasing that money. And
that's right. Yeah, and it's hard. But it's really easy to lose sight of costs when. It's easy to lose sight of costs when you're focused on purely design, and not what you're. I don't know how to get this out. Design, not what you're.
your finishes. Like if you're focusing on what your house is going to look like, you're never. If your love is what it's going to look like, your costs are always going to blow out because you're going to be chasing that shiny thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really a question of what honestly, as plainly as it can be, is what you want the house to look like.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the tipping point, because sometimes it's easy to get to with a renovation. Sometimes it is cheaper. It can be, but it's when it's done strategically and cleverly. And usually in most renovations extensions, there'll be a part of the house that is staying, and it might just, because we usually completely, either go through the whole house or we pretty up the existing house. So we'll go through and paint everything. Yeah. So everything gets prettied up at the same time, so it all looks the same. But obviously, new build, everything is brand new. So I don't know. The cost lies in, the
repair,
new construction,
the repair for the reno, and then I think that's where I think they had that hard time too. They don't understand. They could have a different truss system up in their roof, and then when you're trying to add extra hips and valleys and things like that, you're gonna have to shore that stuff up. It's gonna cost. I know there's one job that there's a particular client for you guys that I work very closely with. She's a very favorite person of mine. I talk to her very often. We did an investment property for her, and she is in the investment world, and she made a few calls about this design, and we're like, hey, give me 10 minutes at it, and I'll show you a different design, and we can maybe make that run through. Place ended up looking magic, and then but it was with you guys going in and giving it that lick of paint, making sure that all of that structure was done right. It wasn't until that vision wasn't fully realized until you guys did your thing. And it's really hard to show not that she's not visual, but it's very hard to show somebody that's not in the industry what it will look like, particularly if they don't have an interior designer or a lighting designer or something like that, and they don't have that visual amenity, I guess, to kind of get what it's going to happen. And then, obviously once all the structure goes in and they go, oh, I really like that brass tap, but I don't, I want to change that brass tap to, gold plate. And then all of a sudden that price is just going to go, right, oh, thank you very much. And, unfortunately there's a variation for that. Unfortunately, there's going to be an extra percentage on that. Gold plate is not the same price as bronze. And then all of a sudden that price just slowly creeps. There's just that price creep constantly. Yeah. And you can't prep, you can, that's a lie. You can prep a client that's the price and that's the cost. But, as we found out constantly through this podcast, the earlier you get someone in, you pay that money up front, which is a little bit daunting for the clients, but they're going to get that better result at the end. Whereas if you don't get the consultants in early and you leave it right to the end, and you get the interior designer at the end, or you get the lighting designer at the end, or you get all these things when you should have got them a little bit earlier, and then they go, well, you know what? The engineers now looked at this design, and this span that you're asking for or really push for is going to cost you a stupid amount of money for the supports through it. And then all of a sudden it's going to boost that cost, or even the interior design. Yeah,
I've got something great to add to that. The detail is king and whether it be new build or renovation, for both. It's funny, if you want the best product at the cheapest price, detail is king. So just as you said, you want, and it is more money up front, but it's you want to get an interior designer, you want to get someone to select down to every paint color, tap fitting, everything pre-selected, every detail. If you because obviously this is something that you have to do, and obviously it's not included in everything. If there's a interesting detail that an engineer has to draw up, but you have to, because I know that on a few of the jobs you've done actual sectional details of roof spaces that we've had to build because parapets are close and aprons won't work for legal required height. So you've done details for us like that before, and it's those things that need to be in there early, because at the end of the day, when a builder approaches a project, they've got a set of plans, they've got the engineering, they've got the basics, and 9 times out of 10, that's what people give you. And sometimes people don't even give you engineering, as you know. That's
Yep.
So that's what we see 9 times out of 10. And statistically speaking, if you were to put our jobs that we've had interior designer and everyone else that's got and yourself, they've paid yourself to do all the details, the small things that aren't really considered normal and it's outside of scope. If you put those jobs next to the ones we received, the set of plans, the basics and the engineering, 9 times out of 10, these ones are going to have way less variation, or have had way less variation than the ones over here. It's just, and it's a big thing of, like you said, that they get to this point and they go, oh, no, that's not what it was going to look like. And we've done, I don't even know how many times we've changed something that we've finished because the client goes, oh, that's not what I was expecting. And they full well understand that they've got to pay for it. But if they had that in the beginning, or, some sort of vision of that would have been clear early. And that's $500 here. And then it's, 50 grand here, depending on what it is. It could only be, but that's only an example. So detail is so important. But like you said, it's an initial investment that's quite scary when you don't even know that it's something that you want to do.
It's the same with showing your engineering to your builder before you've submitted to council and before all the plans are finalised. We can save, some jobs we've saved up to 100 grand by changing engineering, saying we can build it like this, you're going to save a lot of money. And it's just money for jam for the client.
Well, it's the conversation. It's the conversation with the consultant. Like if you've got a good relationship with an engineer, and every time it doesn't matter. Engineers are engineers, right? You'll meet an engineer and they'll want something done in a specific way, and you've got you boys that have been doing it for years, and you go, well, hang on a minute. Well, we could probably do it this way, and then it takes a little bit of back and forth with the engineer, or we use the one that we love the most, and we can have that conversation and an open conversation, particularly with an engineer, God love them, will save the client hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're not even going into the basics just yet, but that's once you get into the basics, that's more money. But an engineer that's going to help support and get the good result that's also going to be structurally sound is 100% key. Get those in early, and on that when I get it all the time. We do the concepts. I literally had a conversation about it 20 minutes ago. You get the concepts, and then the clients 100%, they get excited. They've got hot feet. They're like, rock and roll. Let's go. I love what it looks like. And then they go, I want to go and get a price. Every time I go and see the boys, go and get a price from them, come back and let me know. Every time they'll come back and they'll go, well, they've asked me for engineering. Oh, well, they've asked me for basics. I'm like, yeah, well, you guys would have given them like a prelim cost. And it's a dirty word to you guys.
Yeah. It's something that me personally, I dread. When I get concepts and I see the client comes to me, I go, all right. I go, because the way we do it is we want to inform the client as soon as possible what a realistic cost is for whatever it is that's landing on our table. So let's say we get a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, living room extension, 80 square meters, 90 square meters, whatever the square meters is. We have a formula for that, which is based off an average of the previous jobs that are in a category, low, mid, high, new build, renovation, existing, or extension and first floor. So it's pretty detailed, whereas the cost changes per anything, like whether it's a second story, a first floor addition, whether it's an extension or renovation or new build. So with those costs, we go through over that square meter area, and then whatever other items I think that from experience that I think we'll need. So, with no engineering also, we'll probably need structural steel here. We may need this here. We're going to need some drainage here. We're going to need to do this. And I'll add those costs in, which a lot of people don't do, which I think is pretty misleading and is a big problem for clients, because clients will go somewhere and go, oh, it's only going to cost me 150 grand. But then, they haven't put site drainage in. They haven't put landscape costs in. They haven't put, driveway in. They haven't put, and like structural steel, it's just basically they've given them a square meter estimate of just what that building alone would cost. But there's so many other costs that are factoring. New grass for the grass that we destroy. You know what I mean? So there's so many, all those things are factored in early, and that's what we do with our concepts, because I feel like it gives the clients, so real early upfront realistic costing of what they're in for.
Gives them a chance to change too.
That's right.
Because they're still at concept stage.
Yeah.
That's not in my budget. I'm going to reduce this. I'm going to take a bedroom out, or...
Yeah. And that starts another problem though, like, because the clients need the engineering, they need the basics to get like an accurate or legit number. And most of the time that we don't get the basics and we don't get the engineering until they're pretty much either ready for DA or, if it's compliant development, until they're ready for the certification. These reports they're not cheap. So saying to clients, hey, before you get that estimate or before you get that cost, you're not going to be able to get a right cost until you get these reports.
Yeah.
And then they go and get those reports, and then they go, oh, shit, that's probably too expensive for me now. What do I do? And then you go, well, we can dial it back, we can change it, but then there's going to be, you're going to have to redo the report. The engineer's going to hit you again. Like there's this vicious cycle of being able to try and get them an accurate quote from builders, and then if it lands properly, then coming back to then do the reports or get the reports first and then having to change it. Like it's a really hard process. And it's something that I've talked to my Mitch quite often about how we can try and mitigate that problem. Open to suggestions for sure.
Yeah, that's that reason is why we started doing the preliminary costing for all the different types of things, because from you and then other drafties and stuff that we've seen things for, we've had similar feedback. What's going on with all this? There's no essentially the same concerns. So that's why we went down the route of trying to piece in these things so they have a really accurate idea as early as possible. But it's a catch-22 type thing. It's chicken before the egg, really hard to, because I obviously say this is indicative of whatever the engineering is, because I can't guarantee that it's going to be, a 300 UB with two 90mm posts and, plates welded, and I don't have the software or the licensing or experience to say that that's going to work.
For the players at home, UBs are your beams, your supportive beams and things like that go into the roof.
Yeah, sorry. It's they're usually very large steel beams that are, hold up a large portion of a first floor or large span.
Cost the most.
My best advice to the average punter would be just involve your builder as soon as you can.
Yeah.
It doesn't even mean you have to go with that builder, but if you talk to, Matt usually gives probably 3 names out when he's recommending builders. You can talk to all of them, and if you get all 3 of their estimates, you can kind of get a good gauge of what you're going to be up for.
Yeah. But yeah, you do, and I think getting the quotes, and that's even for us designers as well. I want somebody else to get another quote, because I want to find out. I want to find out where we're sitting in the industry first. Yeah. Second, I want to find out if we're providing the same level of service that everybody else is charging for. And then secondly, it gives me an opportunity to either, adjust what I think we're worth. And I think at the end of the day, I've got a strong team. I think we know what we're doing, and I think we charge as such. And while I'm quite confident in our prices, someone out there might do it better than us and do a whole lot more. So I'm always interested in that stuff.
Yeah, well, I guess it's the exact same for us. We're not the best in the world. We're probably not even the best in Newcastle. But I'm just being honest. Really, there's plenty of good players out there. But yeah, it's the same for us. We just, all you can do is get feedback and try and grow. So, yeah. But yeah, I definitely think the best thing a client can do is multiple quotes. It's don't rely on one builder or one, whoever it is. Go see 3. Just advice to that is try not to see more than 3, because that's when things start to get away from you, whereas you've got to compare apples for apples. Whereas when you've got so much in the bunch to sit next to each other, there's always something that gets missed.
It's the transparency. Everybody that jumps on this podcast, transparency. Read the quote. Don't skip it down to the bottom. Don't find the bottom number.
Yeah.
Look through everything. Compare each space. Make sure everything's on there. If it's not on there, ask the question why it's not on there.
Yeah.
And then and I think the more questions that are asked to the guys in our industry, the better it's going to set a standard. I think is probably the better word now. It's now setting a standard that everyone should show these things on their quote. They should notify somebody if it's not included, or the exclusions rather,
or allowances, provisional sums, prime cost items.
Yeah.
How much is for each one? What happens when it goes over? How does a variation presented? Yeah. The quote paired with the contract, you should not be skipped.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like you mentioned, you've got the variations and your exclusions and all your bits and pieces. I think finding those things and why they're not included will identify, where that money's going, and then you'd find out very quickly the results, and I guess why someone's more than somebody else.
Oh yeah, it becomes, once you start to read them, actually read them, and then the best thing you can do when you read them is, I've got this question, go back to this guy, and then go back to this guy, and it comes clear pretty quickly. And like pitting more than 3 builders together, because it gets really tricky too, because obviously like you've got all of your services, you've got all your subbies and all your bits and pieces, and then someone's going to price it at something else, and there's always a danger of one builder covering themselves more and saying, well, you know what, that's going to cost you an extra $150,000, because they don't want to tell the client it's going to cost them $20,000, or they put a provisional sum in for a kitchen of $10,000. Nobody's doing a kitchen for $10,000. It doesn't matter. But if that client turns around and goes, hey, this provisional sum for my kitchen's $10,000, but this builder's going to put $40,000 on their provisional sum, I'm going to go to the $10,000 builder, and you go, all right, well, we'll see you later for that variation that's going to cover that $30,000.
We don't provisional sum anything like that. That's all fixed price stuff.
Yeah.
Builders do,
but they do. So there's heaps to go through, and it's I think asking the question, transparency, apples for apples, sections for sections, variations for variations, exclusions for exclusions. Let's make a standard, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's what this is for, isn't it?
That's it. 100%. Let's shake it up. All right, boys. Thanks for joining me again today. It's always good. I love seeing you guys.
Yeah, likewise.
Rock on.
Thanks, Matty.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for listening to this week's app of The Lounge. To make sure you don't miss out on the next episode, hit subscribe. We'd love to get the message out to more homeowners like you. Make sure you leave a rating and a review, and we'll see you on the next app.